ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ हृतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम सुप्रभातम्। ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अप्रमेयो हृषीकेशः पद्मनाभोऽमरप्रभुः विश्वकर्मा मनुस्त्वष्टा स्थविष्ठस्थविरो ध्रुवः अग्राह्यः शाश्वतः कृष्णो लोहिताक्षः प्रतर्दनः प्रभूतस्त्रिककुब्धाम पवित्रं मङ्गलं परम् ईशानः प्राणदः प्राणो ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठः प्रजापतिः हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भो माधवो मधुसूदनः. Yesterday we concluded with this shloka. The last nama was Madhusudanaha. There is another very interesting explanation which I could not give yesterday because of the time factor. Madhuvat ishthatvat ahankaraha madhuhu. A very beautiful explanation which I found is from another acharya who said, Madhuvat ishtatvat. Madhuvat means the ahankara is so dear to us like a sweet, probably. Whichever you like the most, you may add. Some people may not like sweets, but they may like something else. You may just replace it with that. Madhuvat ishtatvat meaning what? I love myself first. And what is this myself here? Our own ahankara. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyahitam bhavati. This is a very oft quoted statement. Atmanastu kamaya, for the sake of my own, because of the desire I have for myself. Madhuvat, because of it appears to be the sweetest. Sweetest here meaning what? The most desirous. Isn't it true? Every one of us like ourselves first. It is because I like myself, anything that is dear to me is because I love myself, and anything that is good to me, that is proactive to me, that which is nicer, which gives pleasure, becomes dear. Like for example, let us say I like Rasgulla. Why do I like Rasgulla? It is not because it is Rasgulla. While eating Rasgulla, I enjoy the taste and I become happy. I enjoy that pleasure. Therefore, I like Rasgulla. Many people don't like Karela. Karela, why people don't like? Because by eating Karela, I experience very bitter taste. I don't like that taste. I don't enjoy it. When I don't enjoy it, I don't become happy. Think. Because I don't become happy, I don't like Karela. You can replace with whatever you don't like. Think. So basically what am I interested in? I am interested in that pleasure factor. And you can add whatever you want in that place. That pleasure factor. You can include even a TV. I watch TV serial after serial after serial serially. That is why it is called serial probably. I keep watching serial after serial. Why? Because by watching serials, I become happy. And many of them, I relate myself also. That is an extension. When I thus find pleasure in anything, I am happy. For that experience of happiness, I like other things. Atmanastu kamaya. Therefore, the desirous objects are there in front of me which I want. Atmanastu kamaya. Therefore, when we say Atmanastu kamaya, for the sake of pleasure, my pleasure meaning what? Joy to the ahankara. I like some people. Why I like some people? Because they praise me. And I feel elated. I don't like certain people. Why? Because they point out mistakes. Therefore, I don't like them. Why? They are deflating my ego. Think. Therefore, ahankara is the sweetest thing in my life, and therefore, madhuvat ishtatvat ahankaraha madhuhu. Therefore, Madhusudanaha, when it is said, meaning what? He kills this ahankara. Through what? Through various aspects. Now other namas will come, which will give indication. He kills the ego. Through what? Through karma phala. We will see that later. He kills the ego, therefore he is Madhusudanaha. This is one very interesting meaning which because of time I could not mention yesterday. Continuing. Ishvaro vikrami dhanvi medhavi vikramah kramaha anuttamo duradharshah kritagnyah kritiratmavan. Ishvaro vikrami dhanvi medhavi vikramah kramaha anuttamo duradharshah kritagnyah kritiratmavan. There are 10 names in the shloka which are listed here, which we will see one after the other. Ishvaraha, we all have seen this several times. Sarva Shaktimattaya Ishvaraha, because he has infinite prowess. He is a Lord. We have seen this Ish Dhatu several times. Therefore, he is Ishvaraha. He is of the infinite power, the ultimate power. Vikrami. This is a very, very interesting nama. Vikramaha Shauryam. Shauryam is what? Prowess, valor. Since he has that prowess, since he has the ultimate valor, since he is invincible, he is Vikramaha. Tad yogat Vikrami. Tad yogat means the one who possesses the invincible power is called Vikrami. There is a very beautiful story in Kenopanishad. In Kenopanishad, Indra becomes very arrogant. Why? Because the Devatas fight with Asuras and they win the battle. When they win the battle, Indra, the commander of the Devatas, he becomes very proud. And all the others also become a little proud. For small petty things we become proud. Is it not? For small things we become proud. They are Devatas and they have won over Asuras. So that pride was there in all of them, but it was a little excess in its measure, probably. So Bhagavan thought, we will teach them a lesson. So he appears like a yaksha. And none of them could identify who this was. They try in all measure, but then they could not identify. And finally, Bhagavan had to reveal to them and say, I am invincible because I am that supreme. You have the ahankara in you. It is this ahankara which is not acceptable. So whoever Devata came and tried to fight with that yaksha, they could never win over him. And then finally Bhagavan reveals to teach them a lesson that ahankara will die one day. Whereas Bhagavan, the inner self, is invincible. Now the one more teaching is, all that prowess which all the Devatas have got, Or even why even Manavas, little, whatever little prowess we all feel we have. I am capable. I can do this. I can do that. I am a good artist. I am a good singer. I can fight out. I am a karate, martial arts. I have all these so many things we claim ourselves to have. Isn't it? Some might be a very good cook. They might prepare very, very new dishes. Or there might be some people who can probably stitch nice designed clothes. Like that, any talent whatsoever we have, that talent is actually belonging to Bhagavan only. Why? Bhagavan's presence in us definitely is the cause for us to express ourselves. Therefore, every talent belongs to Bhagavan only. We will see time and again Bhagavan giving certain statements which will make us understand whatever we have is His gift to us, and whatever we do with whatever we have is our gift to Him. This is what Param Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji used to often tell us. Whatever we have is His gift to us. Whatever we do with whatever we have is our gift to Him. Unto Him our best is a slogan, is a statement. Continuing, Dhanvi. Who is a Dhanvi? Dhanurasya asti iti Dhanvi. As he has the bow, he is called Dhanvi. Why anybody can have one bow? Can I be called Dhanvi then? No. Not only having the bow, but having the ultimate skill to become invincible. That is what the meaning is. Not only having the bow, but having the ability to fight it out and be invincible. That way everybody has got bow. Arjuna has got bow, Karna had got bow. Isn't it? Therefore, the one who has the skill, Ramaha Shastra Bhritamaham. That is why we call him Sharanga Dhanvi, Kodanda Pani. Meaning what? The one who not only has, I am Rama. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am Rama among the wielders of the bow. Wielders of the bow meaning all those who have got the skill to fight with the bow, that skill is Rama, and that Rama I am. Dhanvi. Medhavi, a very, very, very beautiful name which we have to understand in its deeper sense. What is Medhavi? Medha usually is translated as memory, but it is much beyond memory. Medha Shakti is beyond memory. Medha Bahugrantha Dharana Samarthyam. Bahugrantha, various, many granthas. In fact, it should be translated as all the granthas. Grantha Dharana Samarthyam. It is not just knowing. He is the adhishthana of all the granthas. Dharana Samarthyam. Samedha Yasya Asti Samedhavi. The one who has that capacity to hold the granthas. Now here when it comes to holding the granthas, very many people in this world are highly educated and they have got lot of knowledge about many granthas. There are great acharyas who have gone through several texts. Can they be called Medhavi? Yes. They can be called as Medhavi with reference to the scriptures or any other branch of knowledge. With that reference, we may call them as Medhavi. But the Medhavi here is what? Is one who has the knowledge of all the disciplines, and at the same time, who is the adhara, the adhisthana of all the disciplines of knowledge. It is from him everything started. And therefore he is called as Medhavi. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi, it is said. Like for example in Bhagavad Gita, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. I am the intelligence of the intelligence. When I say I am intelligent, how do I claim myself as intelligent? I claim myself because I have the knowledge and I can work with that knowledge in the world outside. That is a branch of knowledge. Like for example, a scientist may say, I have the complete knowledge of physics. Or somebody may say, I have the great knowledge of chemistry. I am a very good singer. I know all the ragas. But all this knowledge belongs to a branch, and some may have 2-3 talents probably, or many more also. But all of them are knowledge of the external world, belonging to the external world. So there is an object of knowledge. But here the thought here is that power which gains the knowledge of something, that power, that intelligence is me. Buddhihi buddhimatam. I am the intelligence of all the intellects in this world, globe. Therefore, I am Medhavi, is the call here. One step further. As I said in the beginning, Medha means memory. How many of us remember everything what we have learnt in our life? Think. In fact, we forget everything. And the forgetfulness is so much that we don't even remember what we have learnt yesterday. Why yesterday? Even today. Think. After this class is over, after half an hour, if somebody in your house comes and asks you, what did you learn today? Swamiji was telling about Vishnu Sahasranamam. Okay, tell me, what did he speak about Medhavi? Then you have to start thinking, what did Swamiji tell about Medhavi? He said something about memory. But what is that something about memory? That I don't remember. Think. There are so many places where they say, please remember God all the time. Ram sumir man, Ram sumir man, Ram sumir man Ram. Hey man, Ram smaran karo. Remember Ram. Why remember Ram? Because in the whole life, we forget Bhagavan to gain lot of things, lot of pleasures, etc. Param Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayanji very beautifully would say, the love for wealth has taken away the wealth of love. Love for what? Love for Bhagavan. The love for wealth has taken away the wealth of love for Bhagavan. Therefore, our mind forgets anything and everything. And therefore, the first thing we forget actually is Bhagavan only. Why? Mind is so much indulged in petty pleasures. Mind is so much indulged in small things of life, things and beings of life. And when the mind is thus preoccupied with small things of life, it is obvious that we forget Bhagavan. we have to understand what is the priority of life. Our priority has never been Bhagavan. Our priority is all that whims and fancies of life. I am trying to work in the world outside only to protect myself, secure myself. Insecurity of physical body, emotional mind, intellectual knowledge, all of them are so very insecure in our mind. Therefore, I am fully engaged in protecting myself. Shariramana buddhi. I want to protect myself. I want to protect for myself first. Then comes family. Then comes society, which is a very, very small scale actually. Society, community and all, very, very small scale. In many cases, it is not there also. That is why in the companies they have, what is that? Community service. They call it community service. Please don't go and serve the community. Why? Otherwise, we don't do it. We don't even think about community. Me, myself, and then my family. Family also comes secondary. We are so much, and family also comes because of me. Think. Like that, in prioritizing myself, I only look upon how much can I be more secure. And in the process of indulging in securing myself, we definitely forget Bhagavan. And then you will find, in fact, we don't find time for Bhagavan. Bhagavan has become an optional. World has become a priority, more priority. Think. Therefore, remembrance of Bhagavan is very, very important. Bhagavan says, Medhavi is the one who remembers all the time. And Bhagavan, here, it is not Bhagavan who remembers Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the one who has the ultimate memory. He is the embodiment of memory. They say in Medha Suktam there is one Shanti mantra. If you chant that Shanti mantra regularly, somewhere I have heard this. If you chant that mantra 11 times every day, your memory will be very sharp. Yaschandasam Rishabo Vishwarupah Chandobhyodhyamrita Sambabhuva Samindro Medhaya Aspranotu Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jihva Me Madhumattama Karna Abhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmana Koshosi Medhaya Pihita Shrutam Me Gopaya. The last word is very important. It says, Me Shrutam Gopaya. Please protect as memory whatever I have listened to. This mantra is supposed to increase memory. If we have the attitude and aptitude, then memory will last. But here, Bhagavan says, if at all you still remember, that ability to remember, ability to hold in the mind, in the heart, that ability is me. Therefore, Medhavi. Continuing, Vikramaha. Vikramaha means what? Vichakrame Jagat Vishwam Tena Vikramaha. He is the one who measured the entire universe in the Vamana Avatara. In the Vamana Avatara, we know the story. To not much elaborate. Bali Chakravarti gave 3 footsteps place for Vamana. Vamana was a small, kid-like featured Brahmana, the moment he gave 3 footsteps, the one footstep, Vamana had covered entire universe. The second footstep, he had covered the Akasha, the other worlds also. Now, third footstep, the Dana has already been given. Tathastu has been said. So, Bali Chakravarti had to show his own head. Is it not? We know this story. He who measured the entire creation, Jagat Vishwam, when it is said, it is entire Vishwam. The one who measured entire Vishwam. Another meaning is the one who pervades the entire Vishwam. Therefore, he is called as Vikramaha. Another meaning. V means Garuda. And the one Vina Kramati. Vina here, it is not a Hindi Vina. It is Samskrita Vina. Samskrita also Vina has got 2 meanings. One, Vina Karanam, we say. Without any reason. Vina Karanam, we say. Here Vina represents by this V. V is what? Garuda. With the help of Garuda, he Kramati, he moves. Garuda is Bhagavan Mahavishnu's Vahana. So, on his Vahana Garuda, he moves around the whole worlds, all the worlds. Therefore, he is also called Vikramaha. Kramaha. That is Vikramaha. This is Kramaha. It has 2 different meanings. What is that? Kramat, Krama Hetutvatva Kramaha. Kramat, the first meaning we saw, he is the cause for movement. He is the movement, he moves, and he is also the cause for movement. Whatever movement that takes place in this world, he is the cause. How do I say so? The presence of Bhagavan alone can make something to move. Minus the presence of Bhagavan, nothing can move. What is that statement? Tasya vina trinamapi na chalati. Without his presence, trina also cannot move. Therefore, it is only by the presence of Bhagavan, it is only by the blessings of Bhagavan that movement takes place. So, he moves and he also is the cause for movement. This is one meaning. Second, then one may ask, Swamiji, there is one doubt. What is that? You said he is all pervading and he cannot move because he is all pervading. Then where does the movement come from? The movement here is very, very, you have to understand in the right perspective. He as the principle, remember, he as the principle is one who cannot move. When I say principle, as Brahman, as Atma, he cannot move. Why? Because he is all pervading. But as Avatara, Vishnu, he moves. Therefore, movement is being indicated here. Right? And Kramahetutvatva, when it is said, he is the cause for everything else to move. Because of what? Because of the presence of Bhagavan. Otherwise, it's a dead body. The Shivatva in this body makes us function. Otherwise, it is Shava. That Shivatva here is Mahavishnu. Va Kramaha. This is one meaning. The second meaning, Krama, which we have given in the last line, also means order. An order. In this whole universe, everything runs with an order. We may not be with an order, but the Prakriti runs with an order. Think about it. The sun rises on time. The sun sets on time. For us to understand from our standpoint. Otherwise, sun never rises. It is a bhumi which revolves from the scientific standpoint. But for the sake of understanding, everything in Prakriti goes in order, moves in order, functions in order. In fact, even that so-called calamities called tsunami or drought or floods or rain, whatever you may say, that is also in order. You and I may not accept it because it brings devastation. Devastation from what standpoint? From our standpoint. Destruction. But Bhagavan's destruction is in order for construction. Therefore, it is called constructive destruction. Our destruction is always destructive destruction only. When we destroy it completely. But Bhagavan's destruction is always constructive destruction. Think. Therefore, everything is in order. Now you think about we will think about smaller things. Even if you have to prepare something in the kitchen, there is an order in that preparation. Think. Let us suppose I want to prepare chapati. If I have to prepare chapati meaning what? The chapati which is generally accepted as chapati. Right? If I have to prepare proper chapati, then what do? I have to take that atta, add appropriate measure of salt, appropriate measure of oil, appropriate measure of water, and then mix it. The dough has to be made so perfect. Otherwise, you can't roll it also sometimes. Then you have to move. There is an order. You have to turn it in that atta itself, dry atta, so that it doesn't get stuck in that wood or the platform on which people make. Everything is in order, isn't it? Think. And then you roast it on the tawa. That's the order of preparing a chapati. You cannot change the order. The material may be different, but the process is the same. If I want to prepare a coffee, then there is a process of preparing that particular coffee. If it is a black coffee, there is an order. If it is a normal coffee, there is an order. If I have to prepare a normal tea, there is an order. Is it not? For everything there is an order. There is a sequence. This we call it as krama. And even we also have these puja programs at home. There is a krama. If you are performing a shodashopachara puja vidhi, then there is a krama. We call it as krama, a sequence. Think. Avahanam, asanam, apadyam, arghyam, achamanam, snaniyam, abhishekaha, then shubhravastram samarpayami, gandhalepayami. Like that there is an order. Dhupa, deepa, naivedya, mahamangalarati, rajopacharaha, udvasanam. Like that, we have certain order. The whole world runs in an order. Think. A vehicle. If a vehicle has to move from here to there, that vehicle must be in order. If that vehicle has to be in order, every part of it must be in order. Every part must function. Think. An organization from the top level to the last level, everybody should function. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha, when it is said, what does it mean? Doing it properly. These orders for smooth functioning is also called kramaha. And he is the one who has designed all this for it to function. This krama, what we call as order is Bhagavan. Therefore, he is also called Kramaha. He is the very order of everything. Anuttamaha. Next is a very beautiful word. Anuttamaha. Uttamaha means that which is the best. Right? Anuttamaha means what? Avidyamanaha uttamaha yasmat saha anuttamaha. The one who has none better than him. He is the best. He is the best meaning what? He is the ultimate. There cannot be anything better than Bhagavan. There cannot be anything superior to Bhagavan. In fact, he is beyond the concepts of superiority and inferiority. Right? Yasmat param na aparam asti kinchit. Other than him, there is nothing as superior or as inferior. He is beyond the concepts of superiority and inferiority. He is the ultimate. The moment we say he has nothing beyond, why? Because he is the cause of everything. Cause is any day better than the effect. And he is the causeless cause. Therefore, he has to be the best. He is the ultimate. Anuttamaha. The one who has no superior to him. In the Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, this beautiful shloka says, Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujaschya gururgariyan. Now the third line is the one which makes the point very clear. Na tvat samaha. Natat swamaha means there is nothing as equivalent. Samaha. Asti abhyatikaha. There is nothing which is adhikaha than you. Kutonyaha. Kutaha anyaha. There is nobody. Lokatraye api pratima prabhavaha. You are the ultimate. There is nothing beyond you. Bhagavad Gita is categorically saying Tvad samaha anyat abhyadikaha kutaha anyaha asti. Therefore, Bhagavan Narayana himself is everything. Duradharshaha. What is Duradharshaha? Daityadibhihi darshayitum na shakyata iti Duradharshaha. He is the one who can never be slain by asuras and others. Right? Hence, he is called Duradarshaha. One more meaning is, the bad qualities can never overpower the good qualities even in our normal life. So, Daivi Sampat is any day better than Asuri Sampat. This Daivi Sampat is called Duradarshaha, which is the embodiment of Bhagavan. Bhagavan who can never be overpowered by all the evil. Kritagnaha. Kritagnaha meaning, look at that, Praninam punyatmakam karma kritam janati iti kritagnaha. Kritagnaha is a very common word used as something which, I feel very good about. I feel indebted, we say. I show kritagnyata bhava. To whom? To have done good to me. Now look at the Prakriti. In Prakriti, everything is only giving. And they never take back. Human beings are different. They only take, they never give. In a manner of saying. Think. In fact, we give something, we again look for some recognition, etc., etc., etc. Think. But to have that Kritagnyata Bhava, it's Bhagavan is in full measure. You just water a little to a plant, when the plant grows, it gives back in ultimate measure. It is so happy, it feels so indebted to human beings, and therefore it gives all its ability to the human being. A tree serves the humanity with reference to every part of it. The trunk serves, the bark serves, the branches serve, the leaves serve, the flowers serve, the fruits serve. Serve with what? With attitude of Kritagnyata Bhava. Now look at this. Praninam punya apunya atmakam karma kritam. Here it is said, the one who knows the actions of the creatures here meaning what? All Jivarashis, meritorious and otherwise, who is the one who understands. Punya punya karma kritam. And according to that, he decides and delivers the appropriate karma phala. For him to give us the karma phala, he must understand, and he is the only one who will understand the right karma phala. He understands the right karma phala, meaning what? He understands the action, he also understands the attitude of action, and with reference to the attitude and the action, he gives karma phala. Therefore, jnaha means the one who knows, and kritagnaha means the one who knows all that has been performed. Kritagnaha, and who delivers the karma phala. Patra pushpadyalpamapi prayachhatam moksham. Look at that beautiful sentence. Patra pushpadyalpamapi. Even if you get in the Gita, it is said, Patram pushpam phalam tyoyam yome bhaktya prayachhati. The one who offers bhaktya prayachhati. That bhaktya should be the focus. Patram pushpam is not the focus actually. What is the focus in the sentence? Bhaktya prayachhati. Prayachhatam moksham dadati. He will give moksha if attitude is good. Therefore, he is called as Kritagnaha. He is very indebted, meaning what? We should not think that, I have done something good, therefore he is very indebted. No. He is not that way indebted. He offers karma phala according to our attitude and bhavana. Therefore, Kritagnaha. Kritihi, this we will see tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.